Welcome to Teachable Tuesday. Yes, it's Friday, but I'm launching the series today. This is in King Kim Educational Pathways, and I am Chris Coleman. I am the founder and executive director of King Kim Educational Pathways to Preparedness. How our nonprofit works is we help African American students as well as other students to matriculate in predominantly white universities and colleges. Today, we're going to talk about what the real cost of college is. A lot of people are looking at their award letters and they have a lot of questions because May 1st is the national decision deadline for all schools in the nation. And this is the day where a lot of the students, well, all of the students have to make a decision and put their deposits down, or less they will forfeit their spot and or their financial aid can be given away. We're going to talk about what the real cost of college is today so that you can make your decisions with more information. Tonight we're going to cover how the FAFSA works, what it is, what it does, and why it matters. Then we're going to talk about from the FAFSA to the award letter. What's the journey between filing and receiving your award letter? We'll move on to what's really on that letter, grants, loans, and what they don't label clearly. Your actual semester bill. This is important because now you're looking at the big picture. We need to really funnel that down so you can see what the actual semester bill looks like. Then we're going to move on to the costs they don't show you, the off bill expenses that usually catch families off guard. We'll be here, right here, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and I will be doing a Teachable Tuesday about matriculation, about how African Americans matriculate on predominantly white campuses. I welcome you to come every Tuesday. Let's move ahead. First thing, what is the FAFSA and why does it matter? The FAFSA is the gateway. This is the entry to financial aid. When I was doing my research, it was really interesting that a lot of middle class people don't even file a FAFSA. Well, it's important because not only is it required for some applications that not just give away free money, but also merit based money. So if your child has done their due diligence in high school and they've worked hard, got good grades, by not filing that FAFSA, you're kind of electing them out of those awards. Think about it from that vantage point. What is it? It's a free application for federal student aid, the government's way of determining how families can contribute to college costs. Now, it does unlock certain federal aid, like Pell Grant, loans, and then a work study. That's about it. And then it also gives the colleges a rubric to start with to help them determine what other aid to apply to specific students based on their university's costs. Deadline matters more than you think. You need to have your FAFSA in on October 1st because some of the funds are first come, first serve. So you have all the documentation to file your FAFSA already. The longer you wait, the less money that becomes available. The results of your FAFSA is that SAI index. It used to be called the EFC. Now it's called the SAI. And that just tells them the likelihood of aid. The SEOG grant, this is one of the grants that really runs out. This is for people who show extreme need. So really need to get your FAFSA in right away. They give out work study. They also govern direct loans and plus loans, and they give guidance to state grants. Filing that FAFSA is really important. You don't have to take the money, but you're leaving money on the table by not even filing. How does it work from filing to receiving your actual award letter? You need to know that. You can file from October to March. Really, it goes from October to June. You still can file for this year up to June 30th. But at this point, you're probably just filing to take advantage of direct loans. You can still file up to the June 30th. Then your SAI is calculated, and it tells them how much your family should contribute towards your education. Every school gets one that you've chosen. And then, based on that information, each school builds you an offer. Now, the award letter is received by either email or by the student's portal. So, you want to keep an eye on that. If it's this year, they've been a little bit behind. So, if you haven't gotten yours yet, please keep an eye on that. I think everybody has gotten theirs by now. Each school sends a different letter. There's no standardization to these letters. They are offers. They are not bills. They're telling you what they're offering. You have until May 1st to decide. But by May 1st, that's it. They can give your seed away as well as your aid. Now, what's actually on that letter that you have in front of you? There's free money, and then there's loans. The two should not be confused, although the letter does kind of conflate them together, but they shouldn't be. On your letter, I want you to just take a pencil or a pen and just draw a line through where you see the loans and the grants and always separate them, always. So the free money is the Pell Grant, and that's federal, and that's never repaid. Then you have the institutional grants. That's the school's own money. They raise money, they get donors, all that other stuff, and that does not get repaid either. And then you have scholarships, which are merit or need based, and that does not get paid. Then there's state grants. State programs, those are usually for state students going to state public schools, and those do not get repaid either. Now, loans are a different animal. They give them to you like they are free, but they're not. So you need to know what they are. They're good loans. They're income based driven. You can have deferments. Some jobs that you can public service work, you can get your loans forgiven. So there's some good components to these loans, and you get them at a fixed rate. So that's good. The first one is the direct subsidized loan. This loan is the best of all the loans. It's that way because you don't get interest applied to your loan. The actual government pays that while you're still in school. The highest amount for a freshman is $3,500. The direct unsubsidized loan is where the interest accrues while you're still in school. It just starts the day that you sign that letter. The limit for a freshman is $2,000. Then you have the plus loans, which is the parent plus loans. This one is a new beast. We have a whole section in the course about it, but I want you to be careful with it because there's been so many changes that have been added to it with the big beautiful bill that's not so beautiful. One, the parent plus loan, you used to be able to take out as much as you wanted to cover the cost of attendance that's left over. Starting next year, you won't be able to do that. There's only going to be a $20,000 per student cap and a lifetime per student of $65,000. And if you are a public service worker, there used to be a caveat where you can get your loan forgiven if you have a public service job. But because of the big, beautiful bill, you can't get any of those income driven repayment plans anymore. So it's going to take you 10 years to pay off this loan at the standard rate. But you have to pay 120 payments. So by the time you finish making those payments, you would have paid off the loan. So the loan forgiveness is moot. Talk to them before you really, really take it. And in our course, I really go through the questions that you really need to ask. There's also work study. This should not be confused gift money either, because your student has to work hours for this money. It's not directly deposited off the bill. They get a check, they get hired, they can get fired. So it's actually a job. Numbers the school actually sends you. The bill is not what you see on the award letter. They're going to charge you for your tuition, your fees, your housing, and your meal plan. And they're only going to charge you half of the cost on each semester. They'll minus half of your grants and scholarships, which is your free money. And they'll also credit your loans, which is half of your loans, which will give you your final net price, which is what you would have to pay before it's usually August 1st. If this was your bill, you would have to pay $5,022 before school even starts. Now, that's just what's on the semester bill. There's still more costs. And a lot of families find themselves in trouble because of this, because they don't find out until they get to campus in August. These are the costs they don't show you because on the bill. You have to bring the money with you. Sometimes you get a repayment or disbursement or credit, but don't count on that, because classes could be going on for a week and your student doesn't have books and they're behind a week. That 1 week being behind can turn their grade from an A to a C. So you want to be on campus ready to go in a financial way. For books and supplies, there's $300 to $600 a semester that you need to be ready to pay before classes start. You still have to have money so that they have transportation. If they're working, they have to get gas. And gas is like, I don't know, you have to have a goose that lays the golden eggs these days. So you have to be prepared for that. They also need clothing, especially if you're in California and you sent your child to school in Boston. They're going to need a winter wardrobe. So that has to come out of pocket. Don't forget toiletries. They got to brush their teeth every day. They're still students and they still have to live. So they have entertainment fees. They still got to be people. So they need money for that. And they also need tech support and subscriptions, and things like that. And that all that comes out of pocket. When you look at your total costs, it's not $5,022. There's another $1,100 that's not accounted for that you should plan for. And so that comes up to $6,122. That's the real cost of your first year. If you think it's this huge number, it's not. If you've filled out your FAFSA and you got some aid. If you think it's just the bill, it's not. You need to make sure that your student has the funds to live. Food insecurity on a university campus is real. So don't take that lightly. Tonight I just gave you an overview, right? There's so much to learn. I want you to pull out your award letters that you received. I want you to separate the free money from the loans. I want you to calculate your true semester costs using the formula that I just gave you. I want you to compare schools on actual costs, not the sticker price. Okay? I want you to compare it based on the actual cost. Now, tonight was just an overview, and our course gives you the complete roadmap of what the financial aid system is all about. It helps you to understand your letter, your bill, compare schools side by side, navigate loans. What are you actually signing? Find scholarships. I actually built a whole tracking system for you to cover that gap, to catch errors on your award letter. Colleges make errors, a lot of them. And I've itemized 8 big errors that they make that costs families a lot of money. I've also provided you with some tools and resources that are automated and online. This is our off bill tracker. It helps your students stay on budget. For example, we have this off built, and this is yours through the course. Your student can come in here. You can, for example, we have an allotment here of $400. The student can add more allotments. And what it does, it takes just like any tracker, the student puts in their expenses. And this is important for a student because this is the first time they're on their own. And they need to understand that buying a Starbucks coffee and a Danish every day for 5 days will exhaust their money. And gas is expensive. So if they're trolling their friends around in their car, they need to understand that. And we have books here too. So it totals what they have left. It helps them to see where they're spending all their money because it charts down that as well. One of the great features of this one is it also helps you to see your off bill money. So if you set your budget, if it's $400, you can see that it's already in for first week, $40, and personal expenses $75, and the uh, gas was $65. So yeah, it helps let them know I need to slow down. I don't have much money. It helps them to stay on track. And I also put 2 more categories in here because we need to have an emergency fund, and we need to have not school related funds as well. So that helps them to stay on track. And it also gives you the 4-year report so you can see how you're recovering every year. So that's one of our trackers. Another one is your move in so that you can track your online expenses and make sure that you're buying everything they need before they get to campus. It's hard to really think about everything. And the good thing about this is that you have it early. So now when they have their graduation party, maybe, I don't know, put this out and people can bring like some little thing and it helps. There's so many ways to help out. So these become yours. I'll see you next Tuesday. We come back every Tuesday. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, and hopefully, I'll see you on Tuesday. Have a good night. Bye.